Hello, welcome back all you crafty people. I have a little bit of a different type of video today. I've been working on process videos. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from that. My next one will post on Sunday, but today I wanted to talk about photo organization, which I have right here, specific to a trip. So this is all from my Florida trip to Universal Studios last summer. A little bit about printing, where I print, how I print, and why I choose what I choose. And then also prepping to get all of these layouts into an album. So those are all the things I'm going to cover in this video today. The first thing I want to talk about is printing photos. This is where I'm storing them right now, but when I print, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the differences in what I do. So for my 4x6s, these are all 4x6s from this trip, I tend to print from Snapfish online. For being a moderately priced online photo processing site, I think they have the best quality. I've tried York, I've tried Shutterfly, pretty much any of the online ones you can imagine, I've tried them. I've also printed locally to both Walmart, or three places really, Walmart, CVS, and Walgreens. Of those three, I've had the best luck with CVS, but I suppose it depends on your individual store. I have not had good luck really ever with Walgreens. I will only use them if I'm in a real pinch and need something absolutely right away, because it's, you know, like 6 blocks from my house. And Walmart's okay, same thing. Like if I were near one and I needed something, I would do it. But I think Snapfish is my favorite because I think I get pretty good quality on them. Now the particular pictures right here were all taken on my iPhone. So it's a combination of quality of the iPhone and then the finishing. Now, when I do 4x4 prints, which I do fairly often, I like that Instagram kind of look to it, I use a completely separate place most of the time. Snapfish does do 4x4, but they don't allow the edge that I like. So when I do 4x4s, I like to use a place called Nations Photo Lab. If you have never heard of them, please check them out. I highly recommend them because you can get the 4x4 prints with this nice white border, and you can do it in 4 different thicknesses. Now I like the smallest because I don't want it to take off too much of my actual photo, but you can kind of go as thick as you want. And I think they also do a black border. I don't particularly like that, so I always do white. So here you can kind of see these were just from a walk we took. This is actually the next layout I think I'm going to work on. And then these actually have a metallic finish, and I'm not sure how well the camera picks that up here. Focus. But I love the metallic finish. I've never found anything else quite like it from any other site. So if you kind of like the idea of a metallic finish and you like the 4x4, then Nations Photo Lab is the place for you. So going back to the organization, this is the box in which I keep smaller trip photos. So like if I'm gone for probably, you know, between 4 and 6 days, I'm able to keep them in here. This is an old mini power sort box from Creative Memories. I've had it many years. I love it because the color and the pattern here. These are probably still available on eBay, maybe, I'm guessing, or maybe some of you still have them from the old CM days. I love it because it has this little hook right there, so if I dump this over, hopefully these aren't all going to fall out, or if my cats dump them over. And then you could put a label here. I never use that because I change this out pretty frequently. So right now, all of the photos in here are from my Universal trip, and I'm just going to show you how I organize. And these are the little dividers that come in the mini power sort. And I'm sure, even though CM is not making these anymore, that somebody is making something similar. So if you kind of like this idea, you'll be able to find it. So it comes with these little divider cases. So I've already started a couple of layouts, as you can see here. I've done 2, that's why they're crossed off. So this one isn't full, but you can see the top of these get labeled with what I keep in there. So I had actually 2 sets of photos that were in here. One is finished, the other is still there. Same with this one. It says hotel interior and city walk stroll. I've already done the layout on the interior, so all that's left is city walk. So these all go through here in order of what we did every day on the trip. Let's see if I can get it back in there. I did. So if I tip it up, you can kind of see how everything is labeled, so that if I want to quickly work on something and I don't want to go in chronological order, I could just quickly grab it. Say I want to work on dervish and bangs. I could just grab out those photos and I'd be good to go. Now, here's the really anal retentive type A part to my organization. I decide which photos I want to use, all the ones in here, print them out. Hello, focus again. And then I actually sit down and I make a plan. And this is because I've run into problems before where I make pages for an album, I don't pay attention to whether they're 1 page or 2 page or any of that, and I get to the end and I have weird spaces. I have 1 pagers next to nothing. And so I got really tired of the guesswork involved in that, and then having to fill in just junk really at the end because I had empty spaces. So I sit down for every trip. I've done this now, and I plan out whether it's going to be a 1 page or a 2 page and how many photos go with each one. And then if I have Instagram size photos, I even put that in there so that I know when I'm looking that I have the right ones. Then if I've enlarged anything, I include that. So this layout has 2 photos plus a 5x7. And then if I've made any collages, for trips, normally when I make a collage, it's an 8x10. So right here you can see I made a collage for this at 8x10, and it's horizontal orientation. That also ensures that I'm getting the right one when I go to look, because I keep all of my collage photos, collage prints in a separate place, because at 8x10, they're not going to fit in this box. So you can see as you go down the page. And then I need, if I need special notes to help myself remember when I get there, I put those in there as well. So there's a photo with my son in a top hat. And so I made a special note here so that I wouldn't forget to drop that into the pocket page that I'm going to make. And so here's the other side. So when I have a 1 pager, as an example here, you can see it'll say 38, which is the left side. Then if I have the other side, I'll put 38A to make sure that it's even. So I've got 2 pagers, a 1, then back to 2. So again, you can see I've got multiple collages. This one will have a collage plus 2 photos, so I've left myself a note. So you can kind of see how this system works. And then I know by the time I get to the end exactly how many pages that's going to be. So really I'm going to end up with 63, and that includes the opening page and the closing page. So the flight home will be the closing page. So the next question is, once I've organized my photos in here and I've made my plan, how do I get those pages together? What I do is what I call prepping. So if you ever see that on any of my social stuff or on my blog, this is what it means. So I start with one of these clear envelopes. I get them from clearbags.com. And by the way, I will link that and Nations Photo Lab in the comments or the video description so that you can access those easily. These are just over 12 by 12 in terms of what they will fit. So I think they're 12 by 7/8. Then at the top, this particular style has a little flap, and this has adhesive on it. So once you remove this, you can fold this down and it will stick. Generally speaking, I don't fold it over unless I have really tiny embellishments like rhinestones or brads or something that I don't want to fall out. But these generally go, once they're prepped, they go right from here, and then I just drop them into my rolling bag that I would take with me to a crop. Or if I know I'll be working on it within the next 3 days, it's probably going to sit out on my desk or on top of my printer or something till I get to it in 3 days. Moving on with how I prep things. This is sort of a quick tutorial on that. So I try to think of which photos I'm using, what my background paper is going to be, and then any accents that I might like. So in this case, I kind of used these 3 photos as my inspiration. So I've got this photo here, so you can see there's some orange in here. This photo where I've kind of got these different shades of blue going, and then there's a little bit of light showing through here. And then darker sky with some mix of colors here, and then again, that reflection matching kind of this orange, this orangey red. So I used those three as my inspiration. So with that then, I decided to go with a gray background. It's a neutral. And if you look at some of my other photos here, like this one as an example, there's a lot of gray in here from the sidewalk and the bridge. So I think that will work as a neutral. And then I was using this designer paper pad, Wild and Free. I can't remember where I bought this. I think maybe it might have even been Walmart, I'm not sure. But I was intrigued by this because we were walking, which I thought the arrow would be interesting, pointing which way we're going. And then the colors work. There's a little bit of that orangey coral color like in my shirt. There's some gold like the lights that were in the distance. There's gray that matches with the neutral background. And then of course blue, which pretty much is in every picture. So I think I'm going to go with that. And what I do is I take the background paper, I put the pattern paper that I want to use in the spread, and then I take all the pictures and they go into the clear bag. Now, if I wanted to go as far as adding any kind of journaling cards or embellishments, I would do that as well. As the last stage in my prepping process, I'm going to put in any little embellishments, extras, journaling cards, what have you. So as I was going through my stash, I found this strip of paper, 12 by 12, and I think the color will work well and the stripes aren't too distracting, so I'm going to see if I can work that in somewhere. I have two journaling cards that I'm thinking about. They both have this kind of same blue tone in there. I'm thinking I might go with this one simply because it also has the orange that kind of ties in with that more coral color, and then in the orange shirt that I was wearing. So we'll see. But then I also have this one, which just has that same blue, a little bit lighter here, and then the stars. And since we were walking at sunset and then once it turned to night, I thought maybe that would be appropriate, but it almost feels a little busy with these feathers. But if I matted it on something, it might work. It's a standard 3x4 card meant for something like Project Life, but I'm happy, you know, to get different with it and put it on something else to make it work with this page. So we'll see. But I like them both, so I'm going to drop them both in there. And then lastly, I have these little like epoxy faux paper clip kind of things. These are from Gossamer Blue. And I like the Dreams and Plans one, again, for the color, although that doesn't quite match that. It's quite a different orange. But we were talking about our plans for the next day. Because this night we didn't actually go into the park. So we were making plans for the next day and we were all excited and we had been dreaming of this for a year. And so I thought that was appropriate. But I like the Awesome, which might work better with this color. Love this because we were all together as a family and we were all equally excited about going to Universal, especially the Harry Potter stuff. And then this one, the color just matches again. And so I'm not sure which of these I'm going to use. And so rather than cut them apart, I'm just going to put them all in there. So I would take all of this, put it in my clear bag so I can see everything that I have. So I've got my background paper, base paper, any of the little embellishments, plus all the photos, all together ready to go for when I want to scrap them. So when I say I have got layouts prepped, this is what I mean. So this is a fully prepped layout. Now, sometimes I might also add a little design. If I had already decided how I wanted to lay out the photos, I would probably just draw it on a piece of paper and drop it in here as well. I didn't go that far with this one because I know that when I go to my retreat soon, I'm going to be bringing some design books with me. So I will have those. So I don't necessarily need to draw this out completely yet. But this is what it looks like when it's prepped. So hopefully, I can get back in focus here again. There we go. Hopefully this gives you an idea of how to organize your photos once they're printed, where you can print, possibly giving yourself an outline on how to make sure that your layouts all match and that the album comes together the way you want it to in the end, and then prepping each layout so that you're not dragging everything you own to your crop. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any other ideas that I didn't mention here, let me know. Thanks for watching.